everyone. It's Charlie Harper at work, painting. One of the questions is, when did I start painting? Well, you know, I think I was kind of drawing, in fact, when I was about, you know, really a child, 5 years old or something. I remember drawing motor cars and, yeah, just remember drawing cars. I must have thought them wonderful. But, you know, back then cars were like square boxes, like the old Austin and the old Fords. That's about all there was. Anyway, so I've been kind of painting throughout my life, you know, kind of on and off. With the band, I didn't get a lot of chance, but I think I started again when I was in a park. I mean, this is about 1980-ish. I was in a park and I found a whole big tube of cobalt blue acrylic paint, and I started painting a picture of a girl with no hair up in the stars and planets around planets, and I tried to do a kind of exercise on weight, you know. So anyway, I done this painting, and it was kind of biggish painting, and years later, and this painting was on hardboard, and the hardboard was kind of rotten around the edges, and so years later, Gay Advert, who is a great artist, she asked me to if I got something for an exhibition she's doing, and so I put this painting in this exhibition. And well, before I done that, I got Paul Slack, who was our bass player, and Paul was a picture framer. He built lovely picture frames, and I got him to do a lovely frame for him. And I didn't know it, but whatever you paint, it's not it's not the size. Yeah, the size matters. The bigger the size, the more money it is, and it's sold. By the way, this I don't know if Dickie was up there at the time. Adam Ant was there, and Polystyrene done stuff as well. But anyway, the painting sold, and I thought, oh, that's great. I shall take this a little bit more seriously. So I painted regularly, and then when they had paintings up at Rebellion Festival, I put a couple in. They done all right, and then the next year I put a few more in, and so I was put in like 20. But my paintings were on kind of seascapes, lighthouses by the sea with waves coming over them, and all kinds of, you know, like a captain and his boat, all kinds of seascapes. And then one year, I kind of I used to like this cat painter called Louis Wain, and Louis Wain, he died in 1935, somewhere around then, but he got schizophrenia, so his paintings got really psychedelic and really wild. And in the 70s, he became quite famous. You know, the hippies loved this psychedelic stuff. I was a kind of fan of his early stuff, which was just like good cat paintings, but they were always a little bit humorous. I decided to do a couple of cat paintings for the Rebellion exhibition, and they sold, you know, right away. And people were saying, "Oh, you've got to do some more cat paintings." So I done some more cat paintings, and eventually I turned into a cat painter. Here we are in lockdown, and you know, we're kind of trapped, and I've got a book to write and painting to do and practicing writing songs and everything like that, so I'm kind of okay. And what's happened is, when I was 15, I went to Paris to be, I thought I'd leave school and be an artist, but things didn't work out that way. You needed a lot of money to start, you know, back then. So I kind of gave up the idea. But it's funny because this lockdown, it's made me now I'm a professional artist. So I've kind of got what I wanted in the end, you know, 70 years later. Someone's asked me, well, two people, black cats. So believe it or not, this white cat is going to be a black cat. And this is one which I kind of done for myself. I was experimenting with a backwash. And there might be another backwash like that. But sometimes I just go, yeah. Aboriginal cat. See, look, I don't know if you can see it, but that at the back of him is the kind of colours of the Aboriginal flag, the true Australian flag. And yeah, this was a kind of mock-up of a painting I was doing. They wanted it much bigger, but the cats were different colours, and I was experimenting on the colours, and it didn't come out right, but it came out right for me. So I love that. But it's going to be like the big one's down there. I still haven't got it right. The middle cat is much lighter. I've got to do it over again. But so if I think of just backings, here's I've got ideas for a backing. That might be a cat on a boat. Oh, there's some fishes I haven't finished yet. Anyway, nice day like this. It's quite dull, so the sun isn't coming right through here, and everything's kind of you can see everything without kind of a bit of bright light on it. So it's a good day for painting today. I've kind of done quite a bit. Finding the right brushes. Yeah, I don't do cats all the time. I've done badger, but people have wanted these, so I've done a badger. I've done a few dogs. Got another request for a dog coming up. What else? Ducks. I've done a wonderful duck. First time I ever did a duck. Tortoise. I tried a horse. Didn't come out good, but cats and dogs are okay. And I'm getting very used to cats, and they're all like little characters. I think the secret is in the eyes. They've all got like their eyes, they're all like saying something. It's taken from the idea of Sid Barrett, a Sid Barrett painting. I love Sid Barrett's painting. He's great. And this is kind of, I think his pet's sitting around the table. So someone wanted me to paint his dogs, these two dogs, and so I put them sit around Sid Barrett's table, and but you know, I put kind of some cutlery, like I had this kind of Eastern German stuff. Yeah, so I thought it looked good. I was just really experimenting with like backing colours and that, but I think it done all right. And then moving on is I had an well, it was Rebellion Festival exhibition a couple of years ago, and this is my favourite painting that I'd done on that exhibition, and I think I put it to a high price. It sounded like £300 or something, so no one bought it, so I gladly took it home. And there's some more kind of just kind of spare ones. Some people kind of come out of the blue, and you know, they want a painting, and then the last one along on the right is someone's coming to collect that. I framed it, and it's kind of already, it's going to be a birthday present for someone. All right, you kind of caught me doing the most difficult painting that I've ever done, because I've got sciatica. I'm kind of bent over there, and I can only paint for about 10 minutes, and I have to have a rest and let the paint dry anyway, and then go and start some small paintings. But I've got to say a big thank you for everyone who's buying my paintings, because they're keeping us going. No gigs. For all you guys up there, anyone who's bored, start doing some painting.
Hello, I'm Dick Lucas. I'm a punk who paints, because for everybody who's shouting all angry and that, there needs to be a nice, quiet, solid basis to come from. Yes, you can't be angry properly unless you relax deep down inside, right? It's a theory. Have a coffee. Cheers. Don't mind if I do. What's that? When did I start painting? Good question. Right, I started painting, I don't know, not in the first 30 years of my life or however old I was. You know, I didn't start painting at all, really. I did a bit of drawing at school. Not much, you know, more by being told to than actually wanting to. In fact, the only voluntary drawing I ever did that was any good turned up being that one there on the front of the Subhumans Worlds Apart album. I'm quite proud of that, as you would be, I suppose. Chap who saw it at school, he was a couple of years older than me, he said, oh, that'll make a good album cover. Not in that accent, but whatever. And turned out he was right. So if he is watching this, which is a pretty small chance, hello mate, you were right, it did make a good album cover. Meanwhile, what happened then? Well, there was a great big desolate gap in terms of paint that I was putting out, because, like, you know, you write songs, you go to gigs, you do gigs, it's what you do. Wasn't even a hobby. But there we were, that's right, coming back from a tour in Poland round about 1994 or thereabouts, and at the time there was no euro going on monetary wise. There was just like all these different currencies as you hop around Europe. When you get to Poland, they got zlotys. You can't take the zlotys out of the country. Well, you can, but they're totally useless, because there was no, we don't want zlotys. Nobody would take them. They were, like, you know, considered to be more or less worthless, unless you're still in Poland, which we still were on our way out. And there was a shop, one of many on the side of the roads, selling all sorts of stuff, mostly cheap, and all this tat. And there was a little set of acrylic paints in a box for the equivalent of about £3.50. It was actually like, I don't know, 8,000 zlotys or something. It's mad. You got a whole wedge, literally a carrier bag full of like zlotys after the gig, buying a bag of chips. It's like, here you go, mate. So I bought these paints. I brought them home and then just started exploring what you could do with paint. Quite a lot, it turned out. Blending, making stuff up. There were no instructions. There was barely any inspiration. I didn't have any like favourite artists or anything like that. I just thought, right, let's see what can happen. I'd be coming up with things like this, which I found downstairs. Which way round is it? That way round? Yeah, there you go. We got some rocks, we got some water, we got a strange thing down at the bottom, that black thing. Turn it that way round, it's just like a face, and there's a feather on top or something like that. I call it Sioux Falls, so, you know, Indian style-y, rocks, water, why not? Didn't finish it, hence all the blank space, but that sort of thing. Then, that was what, yeah, like I said, mid-90s, whatever. There was a few years of doing not much painting at all, really. Got into it a bit, but I couldn't afford the canvases, I couldn't afford the paints. I was more into collages at that point, some of which, you know, this one ended up as another album cover, this time for Citizen Fish, the Millennium Madness album. Great fun. Collages are ace. That came and went. Then I met up with my partner Michelle about 2003, and we both, after a weekend going around Ilfracombe looking at all the art galleries around there, and there's a lot, just really inspired to like get our painting drives back up, and that just set the whole ball rolling. From 2003 onwards, for the next 5 or 10 years or whatever, I was doing like up between 5 and 10 paintings a month, a lot of which were, to be honest, a bit not very good, you know, but it's a learning curve, and you go on it, and it's great fun doing it, because every time you get a blank canvas, you are at ground zero, and it can't get lower than that. Anything you do from that point on, no matter what it looks like, is better than nothing that was there before. So let's have a look. Gradually you start getting like a flavour for what you like doing most. In my case, he said, turning camera around, rocks and water gradually became the thing I like doing most. You can almost say they're the easiest thing to paint, because things like, I don't know, human figures, faces, animals, things that have more defined qualities in terms of their shape and appearance and structure, you've got to be very good to capture a face properly and show real emotion to it, and I've done very few attempts at it. I'd rather just let the brush make something out of what was previously nothing. But when it comes to nature, it's so varied that you can actually get cheeky with it. You'll never see a scene of sky like this one unless you make a painting of it, and that's why painting is so good. They beat photographs because they can basically take you to a place that doesn't exist, and then suddenly when you've painted it, it does, which is kind of neat, really. I'm going to do a painting now, and the idea I've got is to have this background, should go really well with phthalo blue, and it's one of my favourite colours, and the idea is to have some sort of the old pillars sketch across here somehow, and make the gap between the orange and yellow and the pillars coming down appear like very 3D, so the pillars are set back a bit. That's the idea. Now watch on. First thing you do is you tape up stuff. Okay, so that's part 1 or 2 done, tape off, and this is what we got so far. Pretty close to how I thought it would be. What I did, this ends up being, well, it was going to be blue going into yellow via green, and it ended up being more green than blue, but over here the dark stuff is phthalo blue, and that moulds into phthalo green. The phthalos are great colours because they blend really well. And it's spelled P-H-T-H-A-L-O. There's like loads of consonants. Therefore, later on, when the world runs out of consonants, we'll go to phthalo colours to get it all back again. Probably delete that bit. So, and then of course, the fun bit is, having painted it one particular way round, you can always turn it around and see what then goes on. Sometimes it can change the entire painting from one thing to another. Probably not this time, but I'm going to stick with that. And so what's up? I'll tell you what's up. There's some blotches here when they're pulling the tape off. Did too much of a hurry. Splat, splat, splat. But who knows what this will become. I'm thinking either a bunch of stones, boulders styly, or ripples, and that's all water with ripples in it. This remains blank, well not blank, but the sky or whatever above it. Increase the three-dimensional nature of the spiky bits coming down as if this was like a ripped curtain or something. That's all I've got planned out for it, and we shall see in part whatever coming soon. Alright, another day has passed, and we had it like this, and it was like, get the right idea to what to do with the rest of it. This could be a lake in either the colour it is, or the same green, could be reflecting these columns here. In that case, what are you going to do with the top bit? Got stuck, turned it over back again to where it started from, and now we seem to have like a desert floor with the sun shining lovely. Pick about this blotch, do something about that, and these could possibly lead to one singular palm tree coming up through the surface. Could be a good idea. Down here, water. Water, green, life, desert, palm tree. There's a message in there. Invent it yourself. I'm going to start doing that. Phthalo turquoise. Okay, so because of that little blotch up there, couldn't get rid of it. There, it looked a bit dull and I sort of got rid of it. Anyway, so now discover the use of the magic, cheap as you can find in the supermarket, sponge. You cut the corners off around the edge to like prevent loads of rogue straight lines turning up where you don't want them. And you just pad away with your favourite two colours, mix them up, and suddenly all sorts of things happen, which is what painting's all about, really, discovering stuff that wasn't there before. Nice. And here it is in its full glory, finito. This is it. Put more red in at the top, as we can see, and yeah, that took ages. The camera ran out of power or steam or whatever drives these things. And space, that's the one. Camera ran out of space, was a bit annoying, but yeah, there you have the basic process of painting. You start without many ideas. You just start with one idea and basically see where it goes. That's one of the joys of painting, is that like your imagination can just go with the literal flow from the brush that came out of wherever it came out of. You put something on a canvas, mixing colours together or shapes or whatever, and you create something new you didn't think of before, and then that's just inspiration to carry on until that point where you think, right, that's enough. And there you go, that's how it all happens, off and on. There's no timetable to art, which is another good thing. You can take as long as you like about it, or just like splat it down. I'm happy with that. Nice one. It's good for you, this.